So, in this video, I want to talk about pantheism and the spiritual densities. So, my understanding of pantheism is that it's the belief that everything in existence is God. So, every human, every planet, every particle of dust, every atom, everything in existence is God, is an expression of God. And I've had this type of belief for about a year now, and I didn't even come across the definition until probably about a half a year ago. And I knew I had this belief, for about a year, and I just ran into the definition of what I believed in, and I just didn't know. I just didn't know it was, pantheism, the definition of what I actually, believed in. So anyways, so let me kind of jump ahead and talk about the spiritual densities. And essentially, I'm going to use these spiritual densities to give pantheism, some more credibility. And, by the way, I really do respect other people's beliefs, whether you're Buddhist, Christian, I respect everybody's beliefs. But I don't know, I just think it's a fascinating topic and thought I would just go ahead and discuss it, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, so pantheism, the spiritual densities explaining pantheism. So there's these different spiritual densities or different metaphysical realities apparently overlapping one another, right? And apparently we human beings are in third density, which is the density of self-awareness and ego and all that good stuff. So anyway, so it starts off with first density, which is mineral life, atoms, molecules, pretty much like primordial forms of life, basically the building blocks of life, essentially. And basically for each density, there's a certain level of sentience and consciousness that goes along with it. So the higher density a being is, or a thing is, I guess, the higher level the sentience, the higher level the consciousness is. So second density would be more like animal life and plant life. So now when you get the second density, you're actually getting into actual life forms, right? Like animals and plants and insects, things like that. So they're all about survival and growth, basically. So that's second density. So when you move into third density, you start to have a sense of self-awareness. You're not just out there just roaming around the woods or eating animals or whatever second density animal you would be or whatever. You're not just all about growth and survival. You're actually becoming more self-aware. You're becoming more curious. And with that curiosity, maybe you're going to start, building huts and making tools and things like that. So that's us, human beings, the third density, the density of self-awareness. So basically, this third density is just one of the levels for the universe to express itself, right? And this is where it comes in when I'm trying to explain pantheism with the spiritual densities. So what I think is that with pantheism, that everything is God, that God is essentially trying to express itself and as many infinite ways as possible. And I think God, as a whole, which is, with pantheism is everything in existence, is expressing itself through these different densities, these different levels of sentience and consciousness. And a lot of people are saying that, we're at a crossroads, the whole 2012 thing and the Mayan calendar and all that stuff, that, that our consciousness is speeding up and people are becoming more aware, more aware of just themselves and what's going on in the world, and people are actually becoming more compassionate and more loving towards one another. And you can guess the next density is unconditional love, right? 4 densities, unconditional love. So, and if you think about it, if you go from self-awareness and you have that ambivalence of, you're still trying to figure out your ego and your self-awareness, and you're still kind of, in some ways, you're still kind of in that survival mode, and you're still building on your ego, and you're trying to build on yourself, and you're trying to find out what's unique about you and get more grounded, basically, and know what your talents are, and so on and so forth. So I think the most logical step, the next density, would be unconditional love. So once you learned how to be, once you have basically mastered self-awareness, and you master your own ego, and you transcend all that, you go on to, unconditional love. Unconditional love for yourself and your fellow man, right? And then 5th density would be unconditional love, but with wisdom. So you're more wise about how you project that unconditional love. So maybe somebody in 4th density would be someone that literally, takes their shirt off their back to give it to somebody else. Or say if you're in a winter storm and you have a jacket on, and you're like, oh, here, here's my winter jacket, and now I'm going to be freezing cold, but here you go. You're just like that kind of person. You're just gonna take your jacket and just give it to somebody else because you feel like it's the right thing to do. But somebody in 5th density would be like, well, we got to figure out a different way for me to be warm, but also for you to be warm at the same time. So, and then the densities kind of go on and on and on. And basically, the more, like I said, you go up in density, the more you go up in sentience and consciousness. So, and basically when you get to the last density, you actually become aware of all that is, right? So if you think about it, if you actually make a case for pantheism, explaining these spiritual densities would actually kind of coincide with it. I think it kind of explains why pantheism could actually be, more believable, I guess. So if the universe is trying to explore itself in infinite ways, and uses all these different densities to do that, well, first density would be the lowest level of consciousness, and then the last density would be basically being aware of all that is, and basically being aware that, well, I really am everything, anything and everything at the same time, but also I'm just part of that infinite existence at the same time. So, and there's everything in between, right? So you go from the first density to the last one, realizing you're essentially everything and anything, but you're just part of that infinite existence. So anyways, I'm at the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to close this up. So again, this is PsychNaut, the channel where subjects such as psychology, the human psyche, and psychedelic information coalesce. Thank you again, my fellow PsychNauts. Appreciate it.